Hey everybody, so my friend Carla recently had a board game retreat in her restaurant, so she called it CarTreat. And at that location, while we were there were games for sale. But also before then, just the week of, I purchased a few games. So I figure might as well do an unboxing video and show you what I've got lately. So first place I went to it was Thanksgiving here in Canada, so we do that in October. And I went to the dollar store to get a few napkins and kind of thematic stuff for the Thanksgiving supper. And I always swing by the board game area because they have recently got like really good board games for $5. So I ended up seeing two there that I picked up. The first one is Disney Sidekick. So I hadn't really heard a whole lot about it. I've seen some people say that I picked it up, but I hadn't looked into it. And the back looks interesting. It looks like a neat game. And then I realized that this is an Eric Lang game, and I love him as a designer. All the games I've played that are his, I really like. So Sidekick came home with me. I also got My Hero Academia Plus Ultra board game. My youngest son and my nephew are big into anime, so I figured just the theme alone would appeal to them. It looks neat, like it's a dice battle game, it looks like. A dice game for 2 to 4 players. So the theme appealed. It looks like a neat game. It was $5, so pick this one up as well. And then a friend of mine was selling a few games also. So that we could just text me. He's like, hey, I'm selling a few games if you want first dibs. And I did. So I'll show you what I've got from him. So the first one is Cthulhu Realms. So he sent me a list and I saw Cthulhu Realms and I was like, wait a minute, is this like Star Realms but Cthulhu themed? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I want that one. So that was the first one that actually like popped at me. Star Realms by far is the deck building game that we've played the most. So Cthulhu, and I love the Cthulhu theme. I have a lot of like horror themed board games. So that really appealed as well. So I'm really excited to give this one a try. And then this is like the perfect month to pick up a game like this. So Cthulhu Realm. And then he had Long Shot, the dice game. I've played this one before a few years ago at Malcon, and I really liked it. It was one of those games that we played, and right after we're done, everybody's like, okay, again. And we did a whole other round right away. This is a horse racing, like roll and write game. So you'll be rolling dice. So the horses will be going around the track. And depending on what you roll as well, you'll be doing different things, betting on the horse, purchasing some horses, getting different stuff that you can kind of activate. And it was such a neat, fun game. So I'm really excited to get it. And my friend's like, I'm so glad you bought this one because I want to play it. And he just couldn't get it to the table. And it being that it's at my house and he plays here sometimes, and he'll get a chance to still. And this one's still in shrink. Like a few of his came in shrink. So that was one of them. And then I've been eyeballing this one for a while. It was Glasgow. So I've been wanting this one. It's a 2-player only board game. It looks amazing. And I just couldn't find it. And I know it was like had good deals around, but and the component looks really good. I'm super excited to give this one a try. And it's still in shrink as well. So it says variable setup, tough choices, super fast gameplay. It just seems so neat. So Glasgow. And then the next one I bought from him is Naga Raja. I haven't heard a whole lot about this. This is another 2-player game by Bruno Cathala and Theo Riviere, and I enjoy both those designers. I did watch a tutorial on this one, and it looks really neat. So you're kind of trying to get majority so that you can get the tiles, place them on your player board, and you're trying to create these connections with the tunnels. And when you reach a connection to one of the entrance of the temple, then you get to flip the thing that's on the side, which will kind of count as points at the end of the game. But what you rolled for like majority are these stick, and it's either dots you'll have on them, or like a squiggly snake line. It looks so neat, really interesting. I'm super excited to get this one to the table, and that's Naga Raja. And then I've got Alfred Hitchcock Rear Window. I know nothing about this, but I love whodunit movies, whodunit books, and I love it a lot in the board game as well. And this is really heavy. I'm not sure what all is in here, but there's a lot in here. Component looks really neat. So you have like the building and you have all these different cards, and apparently is like you think you've witnessed a murder and you got to try to figure it out. That's going to be such a neat game to play. I'm super excited for Rear Window. So that's what I got from my one friend. Then my other friend was selling some games as well at CarTreat. So he posted on the event group kind of his list, and then he messaged me direct. He's like, I don't think you've saw my list. You didn't buy anything yet. So he sent me his list directly. And I ended up grabbing a few things from him also. I just picked them up at CarTreat. So one of the first one I got is Arkham Noir. Case number 1, the Witch Cult Murders. So from what I understand, I think this is like an exit or unlock type game where you're trying to solve it. It's a solo game, plays in 30 minutes. I don't think it's replayable. I'm not sure. But it's the Cthulhu theme, Arkham. So I'm liking. I love the artwork of it. I love the look of it, and it's still in shrink. So excited to give that one a try as well. I also got from him Fortress by Friedman Freeze. So this is a 2 to 4 player game. Says it plays in about 15 minutes. That's all I know. I know almost nothing else about this game. I enjoy Friedman Freeze. He's done Power Grid and Factory Manager. 5 Cucumbers, which is a game I love, is from him as well. So every time I see a game from him, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a no-brainer. I add it. So I'm excited to give this one a try. I love quick little card games. Like I've got a lot of them because they're so easy to get to the table and they're so much fun. So, I grew up playing cards and crib and all the time. So these appeal for me. Then I also got from him the adventure game. It is like Discover the Story, and this one is Monochrome Inc. And this is like the Phil Walker Harding. When we did our top 9 Phil Walker Harding on my podcast, The Board Game Specialist, we were talking about that. This one made my list. I had played some other ones, so I'm really excited to try this one. This one definitely is more like the exit and the escape. The thing that's interesting with this one is it's a little bit more story-driven. Like the story develop as you go through at building up this adventure. So it should be really good. It says 1 to 4 players. So it plays in 3 different sections of about 90 minutes each. So you kind of develop as you go. I'm excited to try this. So that's great. And then I also got Ubongo. So this is a fun size edition because Ubongo can be like a big box, but this one is kind of easier to carry around. It doesn't take too much space. So I have the fun size as well for Ubongo Extreme. Now, Ubongo Extreme all has like X's shape, and then there's like different shape that they've created with a bunch of different hexes they've put together, and it is hard. I think it's because it's difficult to visualize how those shapes are going to come together. But with the Ubongo Extreme, it'll show you a card that says, okay, pull out these pieces and figure out a way to put them together. And it's like, oh my God, it hurts your brain. It's so difficult to figure out, but it's fun. Ubongo is Tetris shaped. So I thought maybe that would be better because it's easier to visualize. However, because I played it at CarTreat, it doesn't tell you which piece to pull. So you'll have, how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 different shapes. And you got to figure out which one you can put together to cover the space. So sometimes it could be 3 of them. Sometimes it could be 4. And you have no idea what combination of which one it's going to be. You just got to work on the space until you fill it, all the white space without covering anything else. I play with my friend Ashley, and she just beat me so bad. It's like I'm nowhere near figuring any of it out. It's like, okay, done. This is the kind of game I find that I got to get my brain working that way. And then I'll kind of start playing, and the first was like, what? And then all of a sudden it starts to click a little bit, and I can start getting a few of them. So I think I got we were playing 8 different cards, and I think I managed to win 3 of them. So yeah, she really beat me quite nicely. But Ubongo, so I'm excited to have gotten that one. And then I've got a few bigger games as well. So Fifth Avenue. It just looked really interesting. It's kind of like one of those Euro games. It takes place in New York, and you're building when they were kind of going through that building craze and getting all the different skyscrapers built. So this is kind of what this story is about. Rio Grande game and Aaliyah, and it's one of those that has the numbers. So this one is number 9, which is cool because I got a lot of different ones, but I don't have them all. So I have 1, 3, 14, and it skips everywhere. So it's kind of neat to get more in that collection that kind of fills in when you put them all together. I didn't know this one has the number 9 because it was just sent to me as a list. There was no pictures, but I'm kind of excited about it. I like the theme of it. I think this is going to be a really cool game. I think it's an older one. I believe it was published in 2004, but we'll be giving that a try. I'm kind of newer to the hobby. I would say I got started in the hobby in 2017. So a lot of the old classics are brand new to me. And I love discovering those old games as well. So yeah, Fifth Avenue is going to be one of them. Then I got Age of Dirt, a story of uncivilization. And honestly, to be honest, when I got picked it up, I was like, it didn't ring a bell. I think when I was looking through, I said, oh, and this one, and I was thinking about another game, but I'm not sure. It did have a good rating on BGG. It looks interesting. Okay, so to look at it, it almost looks like a kid's game, but it says 14 plus. And it has quite the components. It looks very interesting. I'm actually very excited to give this a try. I don't think it's something that I have that would kind of match a lot of what I've got. But it says, send out your clan members, throw them all in the mysterious passage, hit the passage with the drumstick, and it says, and collect resources or even mate with another tribe. Finally, make inventions to help your clan grow and thrive. After all, you want to be the most formidable clan in Age of Dirt. So, it looks interesting. The artwork is really cool. The components are neat. So I'm excited to see how it plays. It says 45 minutes, 2 to 5 players, age 14 and up. So yeah, we'll give that one a try, Age of Dirt. And then I'm excited for this one. It's super heavy. This is called Ships. Now it's a limited edition. It is actually signed by the designer, which is Martin Wallace. And it came with this little tag on here. So this is game 499 out of 1,500 that was printed. So that's pretty exciting. And it looks very neat. I kind of read up a little bit about this one. So you're going through 3 eras and you're developing your your nautical merchant routes. So you're kind of building your routes through sea, and you start at the earlier era until you last era, I believe, is steamboats. So it's almost like a nautical civilization game looks like. So I'm super excited for this one. It looks really good. Like I said, it is heavy. And then there's not that much moving. I think this box is packed full. So that one is Ships. And then there was a couple, there was a lot of games there, but you can only buy so much, right? It's really, Melanie? It doesn't seem like I have no self-control, but I do turn down a lot of games. I leave behind more than I buy. But then this one here, there was a 2-pack, 2 for $5, and I ended up buying it because I really wanted this one, Red 7. Like I said, I really like those small little card games that are so easy to get to the table and they're so interesting to play. And I heard good things about this one, and we ended up playing. Now, keep in mind, first time, that first play, it really should just not count because it's just to figure out what exactly you're trying to do. So the way that it plays is everybody has their cards in their hands, and they're going to be placing cards in front of them that creates a pile, and then there's a card in the middle that's the rule. And you're at the end of your turn, you need to be winning depending on what the rule said. So if it's a red card, and that's the number 1 card, it'd be like you need to have the highest number. So we all put a card in front, and I was like, or maybe I'm the first one starting. I was like, well, I'm going to place a 2, and I have the highest number because there's no other card, so I win. And then everybody kind of goes around. Now they could play the highest number, or they could change the rule by playing also a rule card. And so you're trying to do that. Now, if for any reason, when it's on your turn and you play your card, you didn't manage to play something that allowed you to win the round, like you're not the winner at the end of your turn, then you eliminate it from the game. It was neat. It was different, and I had heard good things about it. Actually, I thought I had bought it, but I haven't, because I thought about buying it so many times. But yeah, so Red 7, and that was the reason I bought this one. And then it came with the game called Noxford. Now, Noxford is gorgeous. Like, it takes place like a steampunk city. You're building up this city, you're placing the cards, and you're also putting out your steampunk characters. And you have your cards. You got, I think it's 3 that you draw, and then you keep drawing more. But you're kind of like a gang in this steampunk city, and you're trying to have the most control on the different business that's in town. And depending on the type of business, some will score you personally more. So I was playing where I liked, was it? I can't remember, but it was like jewelry, and then some is like they prefer the more political buildings, and some it's like the alcohol buildings. So depending on what, some symbols will score extra for you. But there is also, you got your different kind of characters in your gang. So you start like at your thug, and then you have your lieutenant, and then you have like all these different things, and they have different point value. So if somebody plays a thug and is touching a building that I kind of want, I could cover their card with one of my higher cards. And there's also like police car cards, or like police station, and you can move those around. And if you have your card touching one of those, and when it comes to scoring, because police is so close by, you're hiding out, you don't get to score as if you had any influence on the different cards. And then you score each card, whoever has the most control touching the card. It's like an area control card game. It is very neat. Artwork, as I mentioned, is gorgeous. It was fun. It played really quick, and it was a cool game. And that's all. That's not true. That is not all. I also bought a new calyx shelf. So I have now behind me my 3x4 calyx, because I was running out of room. I don't know how it happens. And I had started putting front-facing games. Now, granted, when I put front-facing games, I can fit like another 83 board games or something. But the problem with that, or one thing that it looks gorgeous. You see the artwork on the box. It's cool. However, when it's like, hey, what do you want to play? And you look around, you can't see most of the games. So if you're like, because when we play, we often look around and kind of see what sparks, and then if you can't see them, you're not going to think about it, and the collection's not going to get played as much. So that's the one drawback. So there was room behind it. I think it fits. Plus, this is like a wood paneling back here that didn't get primed very well when whoever owned the house before us, and then was painted. We painted over it, but the paint scratches very easily. So having the chairs up against the wall, sometimes they would start to scratch. So this kind of keeps us off the wall a little bit, protects the wall, and then it just looks good. And then I have room for more games, and it's win-win-win, right? But yeah, so that was my game haul from CarTreat. And the week before. But yeah, if you've played any of these games, let me know what you thought. I'd be very interested. Bye, everybody.